Hey everybody, I'm Victoria Baylor, as you know, Mindset and Brand Brilliance coach, and I am excited to be here with the ever lovely Miss Ashleigh Montford. She's a client of mine through my Brand Brilliance program. We did a VIP intensive together, and we are actually just opening the door wide, kind of discussing what it was like for her to go through the program and work together, and just the importance of mindset and brand brilliance to any woman who's launching or maintaining their business. So Ashleigh, we are super excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, well, you're super welcome. And of course, I always like to start off introducing you because, in my coaching practice, I always like to allude to women as being diamonds, amazingly strong, resilient, multifaceted. I know for a fact you definitely fit that bill. And through my coaching, I love to, of course, help women polish themselves. But what makes you a diamond specifically in the sense of what is it that you do? Lady
Um,
Ashton.
Thank you so much. I do a lot actually. Not only am I the reigning Miss Black Southern States International Ambassador 2020-2021, but I also own a business called Opia. And we basically use writing, photography, graphic design, and web design as tools of conceptualization so that we can help brands and businesses go from one phase to the next.
Well, that is fantastic. And wow, you have quite the I think you have amazing things on your plate. So I think that's really cool with, of course, you being in pageantry and being. Now, please explain a little bit about your specific pageant and title, because I'd like to know a little bit more too.
So it used to be MBU-SAM, which is the Miss Black United States Ambassador, but then it changed to Miss Black International Ambassador for branding purposes and to give queens a chance to re-enter the pageant system and really like recharge and reinvest and really become a part of it. And not only is MBIA about pageantry, but we're also about leadership. We're about development. We're about businesses. We're an empowering organization. And so I was the reigning Miss Black Georgia U.S. Ambassador 2018. And then when the pageant rebranded themselves last year, I was like, this is a great opportunity to re-enter the pageant system. And so that's a little bit about us.
I think that's phenomenal because as we kind of work together, what I love about what you do and everything you connect yourself to is you understand the power of positioning yourself and
Mm-hmm.
putting yourself in a place where you can lead and lead
Mm-hmm.
effectively through your gifts and your strengths. So I love that. And I love that, of course, what we have in common is that whole branding element. My job is to help unpack people to make sure they tap into their strengths and they're branding themselves well. But I love your Opia business where you do and assist people and help express themselves, express
Mm-hmm.
that identity. So that's
Right.
pretty cool.
Thank
So with
you.
that being said, I think it's a great place to start is what actually brought you us together? Like what made you realize like, okay, I need to take another step into a different direction of branding, which is really getting to know myself a little deeper.
Right. Well, of course, I met you at the networking event that Miss Courtney had put on for the city of Savannah. And so that was like something that was really great. So I met you there and I see that you're a Black business owner, you're a woman of color, you really put yourself out there. And I was like, this is so fantastic. This is amazing. I want to support. And I feel like my brand can always use help. Like I never turn down like assistance when I see that the person who's offering it is reliable, they're accountable, they're knowledgeable, and they have these great things to offer. And so that's why I really became a part of the program because I was like, it's a great opportunity to actually, invest in myself and to become a better person through my brand and to actually solidify who I am.
I love that. And I think that's in and of itself speaks volumes because every single one of us have something to give. So I think that's always a great thing when women realize like, okay, so someone has something I need. I'll take a little bit of that so it'll help me in the total goals I'm actually pursuing in my business. So for a lot of women, though, it's really hard sometimes to make that step. There's a little bit of intrepidation. They're kind of fearful they might be judged, or they may think that someone's going to, learn something about them and spill it to other people. What would you say to that woman, and how did I kind of help you, if you had any of those concerns, get over those concerns?
I didn't really have those concerns because I'm basically an open book most of the time. I mean, being in pageantry, we kind of have to be an open book because we sit on so many panel discussions and we do blogs, we do features, and we do all these things. So I didn't really have those concerns when it came to it. But if, I did, after getting to know you, I would tell that woman to not be afraid and to trust in you and to have confidence in you and that you're super confidential when it comes to anything. And I'm not even worried about that aspect of it at all. And so I would tell that woman to just trust in herself and to believe in the process.
I love that. I think you're absolutely, absolutely right, because it is a process. None of us roll out of bed and we're completely whole in who we are to be and what we want to project. And that oftentimes it's just in the years in which we've lived, it can take a little bit of time to kind of figure out, what do I want to say about myself? How do I want to position myself? So I think that's really, really great to kind of, the first step is, as you're saying, and I totally agree, is to make yourself a priority and then to go for getting full internal understanding to the best you can. Because I know
Right.
that that's, of course, a daily and a lifelong process. What were you able to gain through us working together that you feel like just has really benefited you?
Well, it's my sticky notes on the wall. So I have like a whole section that you can't see that really captured who I was. Like you asked the right questions that made me think. And so I feel like that was the best thing that I learned from it was actually asking the questions that made me think about what I want my brand to be, what I want to stand for, the things that I want to align with who I am, my values. And so that was the thing that I got from it the most.
And I think that's awesome because most people assume with branding, how they're trying to serve is the best route to take. Let me think about my clients, let me think about what their needs are. But the truth is, and I'd love your opinion on this, when you don't really know yourself, you don't know your strengths, and you don't know your brand communication type and all of that, how can you really effectively serve people?
All right.
Can you see? And I think do you feel like you can better serve people when you get clear on who you are versus the let me just jump in and start serving people?
I definitely think you can do both.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't necessarily think that you have to know who you are in order to go and serve at like a soup kitchen, go out and do community
Oh
service
yeah.
and those type of things. But I think that when sitting and becoming an expert on different topics that are important to you, that's definitely one of the key aspects is knowing who you are so that you can speak on those topics and become, an expert in that field.
Absolutely, and I love that. You're right, because Lord knows I've done a lot of volunteer work that I, but so you don't have to know or have expertise about that or even be. So I totally understand where you're coming from in that. But you're absolutely right when we talk about business and understanding positioning yourself and being able to hold down a seat of authority. You kind of can't come half with it, right? You
Right.
want to be able to bring the best of your strengths because women get hit with a lot. And in your experience of just living in, I know, being out there as a spokesperson and having a leadership role, what to kind of help the woman that probably doesn't realize she may need brand coaching and the need to get a little stronger foundation on herself, what do women come up against? What are some of the biggest struggles that you've experienced and you've seen other women experience?
Definitely. I think that one of the key aspects of not knowing who I was and not knowing my brand was me not knowing what to say when I'm standing in front of an audience. When people ask me questions that are supposed to make me relatable and I kind of fumble, that's how I knew that I didn't know exactly who I was. Like, you can always prepare for a speech, always prepare for a panel discussion, but you will always get those questions that kind of just throw you off track. And you can't be relatable to other people if you can't even relate to yourself. And so through brand coaching, it really taught me the ins and outs of how to, become aligned with myself.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Oh my gosh, like that feels like a tattoo moment. I joke with the women in my mastermind group. I say, when someone says something good, when you consider getting it as like a tattoo on your back or something. But you like stole the words right out of my mouth and my soul. I always say, I like to use the analogy, it's really hard. You ever been in a situation where you had to you just met someone and you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know much about them, but you have to try to introduce them to someone else?
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like this fumble that happens because you're like, wait, I don't really know. How do I bridge?
Right.
Well, for a lot of women, that's what they do every single day. They fumble in trying to deliver and try to transmit and translate who they are to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that does leave you at a disadvantage because when you don't really know and you can't grasp that, you really can't leverage all of your strengths, your abilities, your gifts, your focus, your purpose
Mm-hmm.
to actually accomplish the things you want to in life. So
Absolutely.
and then the backlash from that is insecurity and lack of confidence. Would you say that in our coaching together, your confidence has definitely gone up?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm. I know we looked at different things like personality types, and we looked at other stuff. To be specific, when I worked with Ashleigh, we did my brand communication VIP intensive, which is a lot different from my larger program where we go in and look at a lot of other different things. But it's so important from a communication angle to be able to communicate someone's worth and then their brand identity, their brand promise, and then move forward. So Ashleigh, my question to you as we kind of wrap this up a little bit, I might have a couple more, but how will you leverage what you gained and come to know about yourself moving forward in your future endeavors?
So once again, I have to reference the paper on my wall. It will
I love your
assist
stick notes.
me. It will assist me in knowing like who I am, and whenever I make a decision about my brand, about my business, about different panels that I'm going to sit on, different conversations I'm going to be a part of, does this align with who I am? Am I pushing the narrative forward with what I want to speak for me? Like when I look at myself, is this something that I want to be associated with? And so that's one of the ways that I would definitely leverage it when moving forward.
Oh, I love that. That screams focus because one of the biggest challenges most women have is having this drive to be very multi-passionate, wanting to do all these different things,
Mm-hmm.
wanting to help, and then having no focus.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I think we work together, and as I work with most of my clients, we do kind of like an energy management profile. If you feel like it, please tell me what your, because I know it's kind of like a fun exercise, just kind of to help every woman, like I did it myself, figure out how are they energetically wired and what is the best use of their energy. Um, in helping you get focused, how helpful was that one of those exercises with helping you get focused and streamlining your brand identity?
It definitely allowed me to realize that I'm an introvert. And so I remember you saying the exercise is all about trying to help you figure out how you recharge. And the difference between introvert and extrovert is how you gain your energy back. I gain my energy back by being alone, by doing self care, by reading a book, by listening to music, or by meditating or something of that nature that recharges my battery. But it's really not draining. It's really, it can become very taxing
Mm-hmm.
when I'm stretching myself too thin and not maximizing my potential.
Mm-hmm.
And so the energy exercise definitely helped me realize that.
No, and that's awesome. Do you feel like from that, just that one exercise, I know we did a lot of work together.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that was a huge kind of turning point and helping you see your self-worth on a greater level? Because I think as women, when we decide, when we say no, essentially
Right.
what we're doing is saying that, okay, that's not really worthy of my energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can decide what you want to do with it. Do you feel like now you have more control of what happens with Ashleigh, what she does, and how she feels?
Absolutely. Yes. And I never had a problem saying no before.
Well, you
Eh,
were awesome.
um, like if I just, I think that now it's more like direct. Like if I know it's something that's going to help my brand, I say yes. But if it's something that I know is just going to absolutely drain my energy, then I say no. And so I think that that's the difference between then and now. I would just say no if I didn't want to do something, but now I weigh the pros and cons and see if it's actually going to drain my energy or if it's going to help build my brand.
That is so awesome because that's a level of distinction that goes deeper than how women sometimes see things as black or white.
Right.
And when you add to that sometimes the emotions like feeling guilty or feeling like you're letting people down, that can just even push most women to say, okay, let me just say
Mhm.
yes, so I can deal with that. It feels like, of course, you were always good at saying no, but now you can say it on an even more streamlined level that says, let me just make sure I'm good.
Mhm.
And for you, is handling all the emotions around that, the disappointing people, all that other stuff, that's pretty easy for you to do.
Yes, because I think that it would be a disservice to other people if I said yes to something and my heart wasn't in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so um, that's what I think. Just if it wasn't for, you know, me putting my all into something, then I just don't do it.
And that's awesome. I love that. And I love that, again, peeling back those layers, moving the emotion out the way, getting
Mm-hmm.
that brand focus, figuring out where do you want to go, and then making decisions to get you there. I love the path you're on. To give us kind of a sense of where you at and where you plan to go without invading your privacy,
Mm-hmm.
what can we look for from Lady Ashleigh from here on out? How do you
Um,
plan on inspiring the masses as you
oh,
build your
well,
brand?
we have a nonprofit organization that we're starting for women empowerment. And so we're going to be talking about women empowerment, body positivity, and how to accept our flaws and turn them into positive beings and just become this really powerful woman that we know we can be. So that's the premise behind the whole organization. And so that's the next thing on my to-do list is to get my nonprofit off the ground and running.
I love that. And strong women empower other women, and women that are clear on who they are help other women with that clarity.
Mm-hmm.
How will what you have learned and kind of gleaned about yourself, how do you feel like that's going to really benefit your organization as you launch this, kind of take this baby out there to everyone?
Yeah, we came up with the idea because through our branding coaching,
Mm-hmm.
we were able to really find out, what my core values are, what I want to do, what my brand is. And so with that came another goal of a list I want to be on. And with
Mm-hmm.
that list, a lot of people have nonprofit organizations that are helping inspire people. So that's another motivator. And so having that list in my head that I want to be on
Mm-hmm.
and then wanting to empower women and then knowing what my core values are and then wanting to help other people find their core values and what makes them tick and makes them important and what makes them valuable to the world, all of that tied together becomes really important, really crucial to people's perspective. And so that's what it is.
Well, I'm leaping on the inside. I always tell people, you probably can't tell, but I'm super happy. Because I love what you said. You're absolutely right. By getting so connected to you, your core values, it actually, when you said that, it brought it all back. You're absolutely right. I love that part of the coaching when it kind of brings everything together. We take the strengths, the abilities, and then we start looking at what is the best way to use all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that it resonates for you, because now, does it feel like you're stressing or straining to make any of this happen?
No, it comes very naturally now.
Yeah, and I love that. Now, does it mean you have to do every part of your? No, of course you get hands on deck to help as you're building this thing,
Absolutely.
which is amazing, this organization. But what it does mean is that it ties into, again, what your brand brilliance is
Mhm.
and everything that you're doing. I love how it's just lining up with your message. And in closing, I of course wish you the best in everything you got going on. Of course, we'll all stalk you because we love you. Um, so that's what people that love people do and admire people. But I do appreciate you giving me the us having just that opportunity, and of course you trusting in me and my expertise to help you go deeper to places you didn't see and help pull out those nuances, those amazing elements that makes Ashleigh Ashleigh, so that you can build a strong foundation and build your empire on that. So thank you for that. And in closing, I'm gonna let you say the last word. What is, I guess, anything you can encourage women when it comes to their brand message and identity and owning themselves? What would be your recommendation? And then after that, tell them where we can find you.
Okay. My recommendation would be to don't be afraid of the most powerful version of yourself.
Yes.
Um, I know with great rewards come great responsibility, but don't be afraid to embark in that journey. Don't be afraid to become who you are destined to be and shy away from it, because that's not your destiny. Your destiny is to walk into who you are and who you're meant to be and where you can find me. So let's see. On Facebook, my name is Ashleigh. Ashleigh Montford, ASHLEIGHMONTFORD. And then on Instagram, I'm Modern Day Monarch. And then that's it. Oh, and my business is Opia Designs Company on Instagram as well. So just let me know if I can do anything to help.
Well, I think you definitely helped with this, of course, this interview and just talking so candidly and openly. I appreciate that. I know the watchers, the viewers will as well. Thank you again, Ashleigh. Much continued success to you. Glad I had a part in your journey. And of course, you know I'm here if you need me in the future. And I look forward to seeing you around and looking at the next stages you're going to be walking across in leadership and pageantry. Uh, Take care. Thank you.
You're welcome.